Welcome back. In the last video, we got a good introduction to Notepad. In this video, we explain the two options of the Format menu choice, word wrap and font, and the status bar option of the View menu choice. Text is just characters, strings of letters, numbers, punctuation, and so on. It helps us understand the content if we can break up text strings into discrete lines. In Notepad, under the Format menu option, you can check or uncheck the word wrap choice. If word wrap is not selected, text just keeps running as one long string of characters, unless you force a line break by pressing Enter, like this. Line breaks are actually represented in the data as control characters. Plain text includes control characters such as new line and tab, and although they are there, they are not visible. But plain text does not include any embedded formatting commands such as font choice, color, underline, and so forth. If word wrap is selected, Notepad wraps the words to fit the size of the window, like this. If you change the size of the window, the places where words wrap to the next line changes. But be aware that Notepad still sees your text as just one long string of characters. If you force line breaks, they will stay in the data and start new lines wherever they are found. But line wraps will change as the window size changes. My personal preference is to leave word wrap unchecked and use line breaks to format text layout. Before we leave word wrap, I wanted to look at the status bar option of the View menu. If word wrap is off, then you can request that the window include a line that tells what line number and column number the cursor is on by setting status bar on. This can be very helpful for long documents, hundreds of lines or more. The other major menu option is Font under the Format choice. When you select this, you see a dialog with the following choices to make. Font, which typeface to use in this document, details below. Font style. When you select a font, you will see what variations are available for use on your system. Size. A list of supported sizes for the font and style you have selected, in points discussed below. Below these three tables is a box showing you what your selection will look like if you use Western script. But there's a drop-down box with an odd assortment of alternative scripts to choose from. I never use these, so if you are interested, close the dialog box and look at the Notepad Help menu. Finally, there is a link labeled Show More Fonts. If you click this, you see a pop-up window with all currently installed fonts on your system. We're not going there in this course. We need to explore a little bit more about fonts. The technical details about fonts are amazing, but tedious. So we take a practical, if somewhat simplistic approach here. A font is a named collection of glyphs with a consistent design across the entire collection. A glyph is an image of a particular character. Let's look at, for example, the capital letter A. Here we show this character as it appears in some common fonts. Although this is the same letter in every case, it has a different appearance when represented in each font. You choose the font, sometimes we say font face or typeface, that seems to you to fit the occasion: serious, technical, businesslike, whimsical, elegant, and so on. There are literally hundreds of fonts available. When you choose a font, you will find it contains all the characters you need in your text, not just letters, but numbers, punctuation, and special characters too. Some fonts contain only Latin characters, others Cyrillic, or of Arabic or Japanese. Some fonts support Unicode, and they must include characters from all human written languages. Here is a Wikipedia page that lists many fonts, as well as links to additional articles of interest. https:// en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_typefaces. All lowercase except list starts with an uppercase L. Fonts can be described by certain characteristics. Font family with a specific name, such as Arial or Helvetica. Font family is sort of a generic family, such as proportional or monospace, serif or sans serif. Font size in points. Font style, either normal or italic. And font weight, whether normal or bold. We explore these briefly here. For serif versus sans serif. From the Wikipedia page, in typography, a serif is a small line attached to the end of a stroke in a letter or symbol. A typeface with serifs is called a serif typeface, and a typeface without serifs is called sans serif, from the French sans, meaning without. Here's some examples of serif typefaces: Times New Roman, Courier New, and some sans serif typefaces, Arial and Montserrat. Consider proportional versus monospaced. With proportional typefaces, each letter takes just the amount of space it needs. For example, a lowercase I is narrow and an uppercase M is wide. This is most often used for magazines, newspapers, and books. In monospaced typefaces, every character takes up the same width. Here's the same line of text displayed using a proportional font and a monospaced font. Monospace is useful for situations when you want to line up columns or values, as well as writing computer programs. Note, serif fonts can be proportional or monospace, and sans serif fonts can be proportional or monospace. Here's some examples. For a proportional font, we have Arial, which is both proportional and sans serif, and Times New Roman, which is proportional but serif. And for monospace fonts, we have Courier New, which is a monospace font with serifs, and Consulus, which is monospace without serifs. Note that there are other broad families of fonts, such as Script, Fantasy, and more. Also, not all fonts are available for all platforms, and some are free, included, while others may be for sale and may need to be installed. I personally tend to choose Courier New for coding and Arial or Comic Sans for general text needs. The transcripts for these videos are produced using Comic Sans in WordPad. As far as font sizes are generally specified in points, measures of the height of the characters, where 1 point equals 1/72 of an inch. Typical sizes are 8 point, 10 point, 12 point, 14 point. You get the idea. These numbers should only be thought of as approximations or even simply relative sizes. Each font has its own normal style. It may also come with characters with the italic style, such as Comic Sans Normal and Comic Sans Italic, shown here. Font weight refers to how thick the characters of the typeface are. Most fonts include a bold version of the characters, which is basically a heavier line. In some environments, fonts can be assigned a color, and there may be variants such as small caps. This is very rich. What options are available varies across platforms, operating system, printer, screen resolutions available, and so on, but the core parts are pretty common. Other aspects of fonts will come up from time to time in these courses, so give some thought to choosing font characteristics based on the need of the document you are creating and the audience you are addressing. Important note: Notepad uses one configuration file shared amongst all the files it opens. In particular, if you set the font family, style, size, and weight, and then save the file, then any other text file opened by Notepad will use that same font family, style, size, and weight, regardless of what attributes were set when the second file was created. In other words, the last used, or at least the last saved, font characteristics will be used going forward until you save a file with a different set of font characteristics. In this video, we've explored the word wrap and font options of the Format menu, as well as the status bar option of the View menu choice, with some detailed exploration of fonts. In the next video, we demonstrate some useful tricks and techniques of editing when using Notepad. See you there.